to say one thing. Trump. It's no longer down with Trump. It's Trump. Period. The guy's a monster. He is beyond wrong. It's almost like he wants to do the most horrible things that he can think of in order to get a rise out of us. I don't know what it is, but he's been doing it, and it's scary.
There has never been a president who communicates with the American people and the American press corps as openly and authentically as the 45th and now 47th president of the United States.
Karoline Leavitt stood on stage at Fox News, lights shining brightly around her. She wore a clean blue suit and looked calm, but inside her heart was beating fast. She knew this was a big moment. Across from her sat Robert De Niro, a famous Hollywood actor. He had won 2 Oscars and was known for his strong opinions. Tonight, he was ready to attack. Just a few minutes before, De Niro had pointed at Karoline and said in a loud, angry voice, "Donald Trump is the worst thing to happen to America. And Karoline Leavitt, this Gen Z kid, is his new puppet. She doesn't know anything. She just reads what Trump tells her to say." The crowd gasped. Some people clapped. Others booed. Cameras moved around the room. The stage was tense, like a boxing ring before the first punch. Karoline took a deep breath, then spoke clearly. "I pray for strength, Mr. De Niro. What do you pray for? After your movie, The Alto Knights lost millions of dollars." The room exploded. People laughed, clapped, and cheered. Robert De Niro looked surprised. His face went red, and he didn't say anything for a moment. Even the host, Sean Hannity, smiled in shock. Karoline had just flipped the whole situation. When the show came back after a short break, De Niro was still angry. He leaned forward and said in a cold voice, "I'm not finished. You think this is a game? I'll show people who you really are, a spoiled young opportunist." But now the audience wasn't fully on his side anymore. Some clapped, but others stayed quiet. Karoline looked straight at him and replied calmly, "I speak the truth. I'm not scared of you. You may have been famous for a long time, but that doesn't mean you're always right." Her voice was strong but respectful. She didn't yell or get emotional. Instead, she kept talking, pointing out how De Niro once praised Obama for being a visionary, but now he acted like no leader was ever good except the ones he liked. "You supported leaders who spoke about change," she said, "so why hate someone like me who's actually bringing it?" The audience started clapping again. Karoline's confidence was growing with each word. She reminded De Niro that today's world needs leaders who are bold and honest, not just famous. "You had your time," she said, "but now it's our time." De Niro looked shaken. He tried one more time to attack her, asking, "If you're so smart, why did Trump's plans leak from your office? Can you even do your job, or are you just pretending?" Karoline smiled slightly. She replied, "I make mistakes, just like everyone, but I learn from them. That's real leadership. I don't just act like I care. I actually care. I work hard every day for the people of this country." Then she added something that connected with many Americans watching. "I'm a Catholic. My faith gives me strength, and I use that strength to stand up for what I believe in." The crowd was now fully on her side. De Niro was losing control of the room. Karoline looked at him and said, "You built your career from nothing. That's impressive. But when your movie lost $40 million, people didn't just lose money, they lost trust in you." It was a knockout line. The energy in the studio reached its peak. Some people stood and clapped. De Niro leaned back in his chair, silent. This was more than just a TV debate. It felt like a battle between 2 generations. De Niro, the old-school star, versus Karoline, the new voice of conservative youth. She didn't just defend herself. She showed that she could lead, speak with confidence, and stay calm under pressure. Social media exploded. Clips of Karoline's replies went viral. Her line, "What do you pray for after Alto Knights flopped?" was turned into memes, tweets, and even t-shirts. People all across the country started talking about her. On YouTube, the video of the debate got millions of views in just a few hours. Comments flooded in. "Karoline owned him. This is Gen Z power. De Niro was not ready for her." De Niro tried to fight back. He tweeted, "Karoline is arrogant." Trump is still a danger to America. But people weren't listening anymore. The internet started trending hashtags like #Caroline claps back and #Gen Z for Caroline. Even people who didn't agree with her politically said she handled the pressure well. The next night, Niro went on CNN to try to explain himself, but the damage was already done. His voice didn't sound confident anymore. He looked tired. Some of his fans even said it was time for him to retire. Meanwhile, Caroline became a star overnight. Conservative leaders praised her. Young people looked up to her. She wasn't just a press secretary anymore. She was a symbol of a new generation that wasn't afraid to speak boldly. That night at Fox News was a turning point. When she looked into the camera during the final seconds of the show, she didn't need to say anything more. Her face showed strength, focus, and pride. She had just faced one of the most famous critics in America and won. The Fox News crew quickly uploaded clips online. The most popular clip was her saying, "You're done, Mr. Niro." It became a rallying cry for young conservatives. Influencers made reaction videos. Political podcasts broke down every second of the exchange. Even late-night shows joked about it, giving her even more attention. Over the next few days, news reporters and analysts discussed what had happened. Some said it was just entertainment. Others said it was a sign that American politics was changing. The truth was probably both. Karoline Leavitt had done more than just defend herself. She proved that young leaders can be just as powerful as the old ones, sometimes more. She stayed respectful, but didn't back down. She used smart words, not insults. She stayed cool while her opponent got angry. In today's world where social media clips can go viral in seconds, Karoline's strong words and sharp replies reached far beyond the Fox News studio. Millions of people who had never heard her name before were now talking about her, and many of them believed that she was the future of conservative politics. Karoline showed that being young isn't a weakness, it's a strength. She didn't just talk about change, she became the change. And that's something no one, not even a Hollywood legend, could take away from her. The next morning, Karoline Leavitt woke up to her phone buzzing nonstop, her Twitter notifications blowing up, her Instagram DMs full of blue check marks, even her email overloaded with invitations. Fox, Newsmax, Daily Wire, all wanted interviews. Everyone wanted to hear from the girl who silenced Robert Niro. She sat at her small kitchen table sipping coffee. Her phone buzzed again. This time, it was a message from Elon Musk. "You did great last night. Brave and smart. Keep going." Karoline smiled. She wasn't just trending. She was now part of a much bigger conversation. Gen Z conservatives were posting videos saying, "She speaks for us." Influencers were tagging her in clips, saying things like, "Karoline is her." People who had never cared about politics were now watching clips of her Fox News appearance over breakfast. Meanwhile, Robert Niro was trending too, but for the wrong reasons. On X, formerly Twitter, hashtags like Niro Meltdown, Alto Flop, and Gen Z versus Hollywood were taking over. People were calling him out of touch, angry, and bitter. Even some liberal accounts were saying he went too far. Hollywood news sites reported that producers were reconsidering future projects with him after the debate. Some said he had become too political, too emotional. One headline read, "Karoline Leavitt ends Niro's Hollywood glow in 10 minutes. Back in Karoline's world, she was preparing for her next move. She wasn't celebrating too much. She knew this attention could disappear as quickly as it came, but she also knew this was her moment to lead. Her team quickly organized a campaign-style event in New Hampshire, her home state. They set it up in just 2 days, and still over 5,000 people showed up. Young people brought signs that said, "She's the voice," and "Faith, facts, fire." Some even wore shirts that said, "What do you pray for, Niro?" Karoline walked onto the stage, smiling wide. Her voice was steady as she said, "They told me I was too young, too soft, too female, but I stood my ground, not for me, but for all of you." The crowd roared. "You watched me stand up to a man who's twice my age and 10 times more famous. But guess what? Fame doesn't mean you speak the truth, and fear doesn't mean I'll back down." Then she looked into the crowd and added, "This isn't just about one debate. It's about a future where we don't let elites tell us what to think, where Hollywood doesn't run our country, where your faith, your family, and your future matter." The audience clapped again and again. It wasn't just political, it felt personal. That night, Karoline went live on Instagram. Over 200,000 people joined in just the first 5 minutes. She smiled into the camera and said, "If you watched the Fox News debate, thank you. But I'm just getting started." The comments were full of fire emojis, heart emojis, and simple words like queen, respect, and leader. Across the country, in Niro's expensive Beverly Hills home, things were very different. He sat with his manager, shaking his head. "How did I let her win?" His manager didn't answer right away. Finally, he said, "You underestimated her. You thought she was just a kid." Niro sighed. "She made me look small." "She didn't," the manager replied. "You made yourself look small. She just let you talk." By now, even some of Niro's closest Hollywood friends had stopped defending him. He was becoming more known for his political meltdowns than his movies. Meanwhile, Karoline kept rising. She appeared on Ben Shapiro's podcast, where she explained her views clearly. She was invited by Candace Owens to speak at a youth event. Even Tucker Carlson mentioned her in a segment, calling her the most fearless Gen Z voice in politics today. A week later, Time magazine ran a cover story titled, "The Rise of Karoline Leavitt, Gen Z's Conservative Star." Inside, they asked her about the debate. Her answer was simple. "I wasn't trying to win. I was just being honest. That's what people are craving now. Real talk. Not shouting, not fake emotions, just truth." By now, people were asking bigger questions. Could she run for Congress again? Could she lead a national youth movement? Was she a future VP pick if Trump or DeSantis won? Her name, once known only in conservative circles, was now a household name in political discussions. Back on Fox News, Sean Hannity reflected on the debate. "I've been doing this for years," he said, "but I've never seen a young guest take over the room like that. She didn't just answer the attacks, she flipped them into fire." Even comedians started talking about it. On SNL, a skit showed Niro yelling, while a tiny girl calmly sipped tea and made jokes. The crowd laughed, but the message was clear. Karoline had taken over the culture war without even shouting. And that's why her story hit so hard. She didn't fight like them. She didn't rage like them. She stayed cool, calm, Catholic, with facts in her hands and faith in her heart. And whether you agreed with her or not, one thing was sure. You couldn't ignore her anymore.